What does that tell you?
Yeah, why mess up?
No, they're not messing up. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
They're waiting for a long ball.
Yeah.
You get a ball in the midfield, Mr. E. I'm playing in the midfield with you.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to collect.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
You're actually running away from
I'm
me.
running away from you.
So who should I pass the ball to?
So ilahla.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous. It's an absolute net buster.
Hello, Dumelang Sanbonani, and welcome to the Diski Preview Show. My name is yours truly, Mr. E. We're coming to you from our Betfred studios in Sandton. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by the resident Fundi, yours truly, Mr. Mo.
That intro every time
the
it gets
resident Fundi of Diski.
Today I'm the resident Fundi.
Of Diski.
But we have a long and a very interesting show ahead of us. Today we've got a conversation going about PSL matches, but we also want to be covering stuff that's happening in the CAF Champions League. It's final time, and Esperance Tunis will be facing Ahly in the DSTV Premiership. It's almost the closing curtain, but we have Kaizer Chiefs taking on Polokwane City. TS Galaxy are going to be facing Orlando Pirates, who are on the pursuit for second spot, and Stellenbosch will be facing Mamelodi Sundowns, which their result will also affect what happens with the Orlando Pirates. So there's a lot for us to talk about, so stay tuned and don't forget to leave us a comment below, subscribe, and if you haven't joined yet, well, make sure you join the Betfred family. We have a new promo going on. If you go to the Betfred website, open a brand new account and type in the promo code section Diski50. We've got some goodies as just specifically for you. So make sure if you've not joined the Betfred family today, it's the right time right now.
Now let's take a look at our first featured match as Mamelodi Sundowns travel to the Winelands, where they will be facing Stellenbosch at Athlone Stadium. Mamelodi Sundowns already crowned the champions. It's only Stellenbosch that have got something to play for here as they want to cling on to that second spot, Mr. Mo.
Of course, let's be honest. I mean, the fact that Sundowns have the season done and dusted in terms of a title pursuit, doesn't change the fact that they still have a lot of records to break.
Yeah, certainly.
So they still have something that they're playing for in this match. However, for Stellenbosch, I know what we saw last weekend was a miracle.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. In actual fact, the results for the top, or rather for the second and the third team, the way I don't know what happened. Isn't Ozaban?
That's why I'm laughing at the fact that, okay, fine, because Stellenbosch kicked off earlier.
Yeah.
They dropped points.
Yeah.
And then about later in the same afternoon.
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates drop points.
And drop points as well.
The amazing thing with Orlando Pirates is that they drop points against the second bottom sides, Richards Bay FC. So I expected, Orlando Pirates to take advantage of the situation. I was like, they were like, no, don't
worry, we'll wait for you. And remember, Richards Bay also beat Kaizer Chiefs last time by 1 goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Richards Bay is heading into a little bit of the Giants layers because they did it to they did it to Kaizer Chiefs. Yeah. Now they've done it to Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that, I was like, that's besides the fact. Swallows does it against Stellenbosch.
Yes.
And then later on that day, Richards Bay does it against Orlando Pirates, which meant that both these teams stayed on 50 and 49 points.
Yeah.
Now it's very tricky because Stellenbosch now have to go face Mamelodi
Sundowns, yes.
Which for them is a difficult thing to ask them to do because first of all, they've not kept a clean sheet against Mamelodi Sundowns in their last 5 meetings.
Yeah.
The last 4 meetings, yes, they did get a goal against Mamelodi Sundowns, but was it enough to win the game? I don't quite think so. On a few occasions it has, but the last time they met in the Nedbank Cup, Sundowns won the game by 2-1. They beat them again in the DSTV Premiership by 3-1. That was when they met late last year around October.
Yeah.
And then the last time Stellenbosch did beat this outfit in Mamelodi Sundowns was way back in April of 2023 when they won that game by 2-1. So it's almost been, it's been more than a year since the last time Stellenbosch were able to beat Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's one of those conversations where you're looking at it and you're like, yes, they both have goals. Yes, they're both exceptional in defense, but we all know that Mamelodi Sundowns are going into this game as favorites and most likely will go out with all 3 points.
Yeah, I see all the teams that are still left with a game against Mamelodi Sundowns. I think also TS Galaxy has got a game in hand with Mamelodi Sundowns. The only thing that they can get from there is just to try and break that winning streak. Just to make sure that they lose at least a single game, because Mamelodi Sundowns coming into this game against Stellenbosch, they haven't lost a single game.
I think at the end of the day, a draw for Mamelodi Sundowns would be a fantastic result because they don't want to overexpend themselves and find themselves having to chase Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Because not only that, they're trying to also keep the record for the least goals conceded.
Yes.
So it's defense first, then attack after.
Yeah.
So if it's a matter of they're going to play for, they're going to play for the clean sheet, they'll probably also play to protect the clean sheet. And that means they'll have to take some personnel from at the top and bring them down to the middle so they can congest the middle and keep the Stellenbosch press from going through into the defensive area, into their defensive areas and getting those goals. So I think a draw would be the most likely results between these two sides. But who knows? Sundowns might surprise us once again.
Yes, that's fantastic from you, Mr. Mo. And when Mamelodi Sundowns beat Royal AM by 2-0, they went to 69 points, and they are 2 points shy from matching their previous record of 71 points when they finish the season.
I mean, that's one thing they can do in their last game of the next coming game against TS Galaxy. I mean, they know that Stellenbosch right now, they were celebrating the fact that they qualified for the CAF Confederation Cup. So my question was, are they settling for the CAF Confederations or do they want the Champions League? So you have teams around Mamelodi Sundowns who are, at this point, I didn't understand why they would celebrate that when they still have an opportunity to get the Champions League. So Sundowns still have a chance when it comes to their next game. It's against TS Galaxy, while Stellenbosch themselves have to go now face Richards Bay FC, which we saw last week. There's no guarantee because
they might pick up the 3 points.
They did it to Chiefs, they did it to Pirates.
They might want to do it to Stellenbosch this time around.
So Stellenbosch will be looking at that as what they used to see as an easy game, now as a tricky game. They'll just say, you know what, we might actually have to now manage how we approach the next two games. Because we haven't actually spoken about the fact that Stellenbosch, since their last win that came on the 1st of March, when they faced it's slipping my mind. Golden Arrows. They won the goal by 3-0, but since then they've not been able to pick up a win, having lost to Sundowns in the Nedbank Cup, having lost to drew with Amazulu 0-0, and then the shocking result against Swallow. So they have not been themselves lately in the last 3 games. So they'll definitely also want to make up for that. So a loss is not something they'll be looking for. Maybe a draw will also be a good result for them. But if they can secure the win and secure passage to Africa, that'll be fantastic for them.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you very much for that, Mo. And now let's get into the thick of things right now. We just want to find out, for those who will want to place their bets for this game here, Stellenbosch versus Mamelodi Sundowns. What's your prediction for this game?
Well, like I said, no wins in the last 3 for Stellenbosch, no losses in the last 6 for Mamelodi Sundowns. So I'm definitely going to go with a draw between these two sides. And I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring draw. I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw. And if anyone's going to edge it, it'll have to be Sundowns with a 1-goal lead and a win from that.
You are watching the Diski Preview Show with Mr. E and Mr. Mo as we take a look at our second featured game. It's Kaizer Chiefs Amakosi. They'll be playing against Polokwane City, Rise and Shine. And that game is going to take place at the FNB Stadium. Mr. Mo, Kaizer Chiefs, I think it's trying times for them. It's trying times.
Last week I attempted to give advice on how the club can be fixed. And then I went home and I was minding my own business and I was scrolling through my social media. And I saw Shuffle's podcast. And he was there with Sands and they were talking about Chiefs. And Sands made a very good point. And he said, to play for Kaizer Chiefs now, your dad has to have money. So that he can drop you off, pick you up.
In a G-Wagon.
Yes. I mean, he's like, but even if it's not a G-Wagon, the point he was trying to make is that even into an Mnandi Sekas that doesn't have the resources to go and travel to Inachurena will never get to a point where Chiefs can take that player.
Or scout him, identify him.
Yes, it was a matter of like it was a deep explanation, but it was something that was worth looking at. But back to the conversation at hand. Kaizer Chiefs at this moment in time, I mean, the story is very simple. It's either they win and they secure top 8 or they lose and Polokwane City go above them and now secure top 8.
Oh, by the way, they are both on 35 points.
They're both on 35 points. And if you look at their form, I mean, if you look at Kaizer Chiefs' form, they have 1 win in their last 5. So does Polokwane City. But if you look at it, Kaizer Chiefs has 2 losses in their last 5, while Polokwane has 1 loss in their last 5. So when you look at form, Polokwane are edging it by just a little bit, but no losses in the last 3 matches for Polokwane, but no wins in the last 3 matches for Kaizer Chiefs.
For Kaizer Chiefs either.
There's a lot to be fixed. There's a lot to be discussed. I mean, Kaizer Chiefs has not kept a clean sheet in their last 7 matches.
Yeah.
And you look at...
But now I saw they brought in Ukune. Was it because of red card Brendan Peterson? I think?
Yeah, but what difference is that going to make?
Yeah.
I mean, you have 2 games to try and secure the top 8.
And you're bringing in someone who last played maybe last November, I think. I don't even remember the last time Kune was in goals.
And the thing is, we're undermining chemistry.
Yeah.
Yes, then. So... When we sit here between the two of us and we do the show on a weekly basis, there's a form of chemistry where you know that if I start sounding like this, I'm about to go speak a long speech. If I say this, it's gonna be short. You see, so imagine now you're a goalkeeper, you have a back four that you haven't played with. Maybe you've played with them in training, but you've not played with them competitively in a long time. Now we put you in front of this back four and behind this back four, and we say, be the Kune we know you to be. Understand? Your back four originally knows that Ukune likes to save my shots. You know what I mean? He can save if someone is shooting from outside of the box.
From range.
So we can afford to play a high line.
Yeah.
Now, of course you've played with them in training.
Yeah.
But now you guys are you're not in the place where you are now in a flow state where you don't need to think about your actions. You understand? You know automatically.
Yeah.
We lose the ball, we go up. I mean, we saw it now when Manchester United were playing not against thingy midweek, but on the weekend.
Yeah.
Where when they play against Arsenal, I think it was on the weekend when it rained.
Yeah.
Casemiro.
Yeah.
The Johnny Evans and the fullbacks, they go up.
Yeah.
Casemiro drops all the way deep.
Yeah.
And then while he's coming back, taking his time, Arsenal get the ball back.
Yeah.
He turns around. Yeah. When he turns around, he's playing a player onside.
Onside, and then that's it.
That's it. That's the goal. So that tells you about chemistry. I mean, he's not used to playing in that position. He's not used to being rushed.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it this way. If you're Johnny Evans, are you going to tell someone who's won like 5 Champions League titles to hurry up?
You can't.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's a little bit difficult.
So now, how are you going to tell someone who has PSL titles to his name with Kaizer Chiefs? To hurry up.
You can.
So at the end of the day,
I can see Quinica trying to tell Ukune what to do. I mean,
you don't tell Kune what to do.
Kune was there. I was with Utisha Diski during the week. We were trying to look at the caliber of players that Kaizer Chiefs has.
Yeah.
And Utisha Diski brought in one important thing to the conversation to say, if you can see Ukwinika in your first 11, that means there's a problem in that defense. There's a problem in that defense line. So I think maybe the problem with Kaizer Chiefs is a defense issue. At the same time, they're firing blanks in front. I know you've got the likes of Usaile, you've got the likes of Umduoda, you've got Dupree. Dupree is playing very well. I think he does a tap. He presses a lot up front. He does put pressure on defenders.
But at the end of the day, Mr. E,
what's wrong with Kaizer Chiefs?
Kaizer Chiefs are not working the ball into the back of the net. That's the issue.
It is as simple as that.
If you're playing your football, I mean, there's times when you see Kaizer Chiefs players, especially in the midfield.
Yeah.
You see a player get on the ball, and you see no one of his teammates opening up space for that ball. They open up space by running away from him.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, by mess up.
No, they're not messing up. What does that tell you? They're waiting for a long ball.
Yeah.
You get a ball in the midfield, Mr. E. I'm playing in the midfield with you.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to collect.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
You're actually running away from me.
I'm running away from you.
So who should I pass the ball to?
So
yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. I mean, you look at that game they played, the last game that they played, Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about position stats right now. Kaizer Chiefs dominated possession by 52%.
That was the game against Amazulu.
Yes.
Okay.
52%.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? It tells you look. Okay, let me give you the full picture.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs. No, I was wrong. It wasn't Kaizer Chiefs who dominated possession.
It's actually 42% for Kaizer Chiefs.
It was 48% for Kaizer Chiefs.
Okay, 48,
and 52% for Amazulu.
Amazulu, yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs had 11 chances at goal.
Yeah.
6 of those 11 chances were on target.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
4 of them were off target.
Yeah.
Only 1 of them were blocked.
Yeah.
Only 1 was blocked.
Yeah.
So you must ask yourself a very key question.
Yeah. And the goal was actually a mistake. Defensive error.
How are you creating chances if majority of those chances are going to be missed anyway?
Yeah.
It shows you you're controlling those chances out of chaos and not you're not creating them from a controlled environment.
Yeah.
There's no play leading into the box for Kaizer Chiefs.
Exactly.
Junior Kanye said this way back in COVID. These guys can't play the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
But it only made sense because that Nurkovic up front was able to collect the ball and find runners. You understand?
Yeah.
When they had Lutulunyan, they had Shaba.
Yeah.
Those guys played the football on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? There was no way you'd see Ultulunyane take the ball and Dalama long ball. He was playing football and he knew he was surrounded by capable players.
And Ule Tulunyane is a natural ball carrier himself.
Exactly.
But right now, who's the ball carrier for?
There's no ball carrier.
There's no one. I mean, like
that's what I'm saying to you, that the moment anyone gets the ball in the Kaizer Chiefs midfield, players around them run away.
They run away.
And they're not
they don't want to be the ones to make mistakes.
They're waiting for the long ball.
It to come through.
And at the end of the day, they don't have the players. I mean, actually,
because I've seen most of the passes in the middle of the pack. Most of the passes are passes backwards for Kaizer Chiefs.
Safety passes.
Safety passes. But you don't get somebody trying to do an offensive pass.
And when you watch this game on the weekend, I want you to watch the body language of these players. If you see players constantly going
screaming at each other,
not screaming, just as a footballer, I need to Mazali 1-2, for example. I give you the ball. I run into space. I'm expecting you to give me the ball back.
And expect you know exactly where I'm going to go to.
If I get there and you don't give me the ball back and you've lost it in that time, my body language will be like,
let's go and mark again.
So you're seeing a lot of players at Kaizer Chiefs doing that because they're not playing the same game. They're not playing the same football. So you were in a Funudlala 1-2, I want a 10 finally Hollywood pass. You know what I mean? So that's why at the end of the day, what that builds, and you've seen it over the season, it builds two things. Number one, players don't trust each other anymore. You understand? Players are not passing each other like they used to anymore. Number two, players don't rely on each other anymore. You understand? When I see you, for example, in a position that you're open, and I can see that there's someone who's possibly going to mark you, and you tell me go to
you're going to keep the ball.
I'd rather play it long, gamble. I'd rather gamble than to trust you.
Sure.
So now that's what's going to cause the Kaizer Chiefs to have a lot of trouble. The last draw I want to talk about was the one where they drew 2-2. And in that game, Kaizer Chiefs were dominated 65% to 35% on the ball by TS Galaxy. If they don't fix this thing of, first of all, the players need to play the same kind of football, same brand of football. Guys, if we're all playing the ball on the floor, we have to trust each other's abilities. Even if you don't think Uzo a trapper. But if he's here, it makes more sense than passing it across the pitch. And actually do play. I bet you at this point, that guy's ran the most kilometers in the country. That guy's ran the Comrades Marathon maybe 5 times.
He's a speedster.
All they do is put balls in front of him where he's not going to get there. All they do is try to put balls behind defenses where he's not going to get there. He makes runs. They sometimes don't even see him. So it's a waste.
And there's also Sile on the right-hand side, the guy who does a step over. Now, people, they know that once he runs with the ball and he stops, he's going to try a step over. It's easy for you to block that. I mean,
but why are they running? Why are they running?
Simply just play it, because it's rare. It's rare for you to see Kaizer Chiefs playing. Those short passes in the 18 area. Once they get in there, they want to shoot. They want to do whatever.
But it goes back to when your first touch is not the right touch. You have to run after the ball. And the whole match, 90 minutes, you watch Kaizer Chiefs. First touch is not the right touch. I'm running after the ball. I trap the ball goes there. Now I must run. Now you are there. I must beat you. Now I've beaten you. I've run too far. Now I must stop. I can't see anyone because everyone is too far. I played long.
Sure.
So what can we say?
I know for a fact that you're enjoying the video. So why don't you hit like, comment on what you think of our opinions, or maybe just do us a big favor and just subscribe. I'll be here watching the rest of the video. Let's get back to the action.
Surely, I think they didn't get the memo from you from last week's episode.
No, they didn't get the memo, but it's fine. At the end of the day, look, there's the end of the season. They have time to go fix it. All I'm saying is maybe they should rework their strategy. They have one of the best passing goalkeepers in the world in Itumeleng Kune. And if they can make use of him, they definitely should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. All I'm saying is the chemistry of the players in front of him. Do they understand Kune's style of play? Does Kune understand their style of play? Will they be able to communicate across the defensive lines? And will they be able to organize enough to keep the ball out? But more importantly, will they be organized enough to be a foundation for their attack? Because how are they going to get to the final phase if they can't build up from the back?
Okay, so let's quickly get into that prediction for this game. Kaizer Chiefs and Polokwane City, rise and shine. Who do you think is going to come out victorious at FNB Stadium?
I think Polokwane, if you have a pub or anything that side, I think maybe you must buy extra stock. Because after this game is over, but to celebrate.
So are you telling me that Kaizer Chiefs might not make it into the top 8?
No, they're not.
We're not seeing them go MTN next year.
How are we at this point where we used to say Chiefs was going to win the league?
Now he's fighting for top 8. And he's got a slim chance of making it.
Now all we want to do is celebrate top 8. Guys, let rather Polokwane City go take that. Let them rise and shine and take 8th spot. But get ready. Polokwane is going to take
It's
this
going
one.
to be happening in
I'm
Polokwane.
going to take it.
Yeah, that's Umo for you breaking it down for us on the Kaizer Chiefs and the Polokwane City. He's saying Kaizer Chiefs will not be able to beat Polokwane City. What are your thoughts on that? Let us know in the comment section. I think I should also comment. I think Kaizer Chiefs is going to win this one. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll take a look at our third featured game, which is TS Galaxy against Orlando Pirates. It's all happening at Bombela Stadium, where TS Galaxy is going to be playing against Orlando Pirates. And Orlando Pirates trying to wrestle that second spot away from Stellenbosch. And Mo is yet to unpack on that game. He's going to be telling us what his thoughts are, Mr. Mo. TS Galaxy ezika Team Sukazi will be facing amabhakania eMbombela in Mpumalanga.
Yeah, no, 9-point difference, 3 draws in a row for TS Galaxy, and obviously for Orlando Pirates that big loss last weekend. But there's not much to be said about this match. Obviously, Orlando Pirates need the result to be able to try and secure second spot and go to the CAF Champions League. They currently right now against TS Galaxy, their records reflects 3 wins in a row against TS Galaxy. They've been TS Galaxy have not kept a clean sheet in all 3 of those matches, obviously. And the great news is that out of the last 5, Orlando Pirates has been the first team on the score sheet in all 4 of the last 5 matches they've played. So TS Galaxy at this point, obviously, we all know that they are the voodoo team for Kaizer Chiefs. But for Orlando Pirates, it's a different picture. And they've met in the DSTV Premiership on a couple of occasions in recent times. The last time they met was in December of 2023, where the game ended by 1-0 in favor of Orlando Pirates. So there's not much to be expected. I think a reflection of that previous result will be exactly what we see, especially when you take into account that Orlando Pirates was home and they did dominate possession. They had 57% of the ball. They had 7 chances at goal, and 3 of them were on target. So you have to give them their flowers. I think when it comes to ATS Galaxy, Orlando Pirates has their number.
Okay, most certainly. And now let's take a look at some of the players who will be highlighting that game. I think one of them is going to be Mabasa. I think Mabasa has done very well and he's chasing that golden boot. I think, and one thing that I've seen about Orlando Pirates as opposed to Kaizer Chiefs, I think the front runners, the front line for Orlando Pirates, it's got so much aggression. I mean, like when they attack, all of them, they come and attack and make sure that even if they lose the ball, they stay maybe 5 seconds, they quickly get it back. So in terms of possession, they are able to retain possession for a longer period.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the most important thing to remember is that when you're playing for the difference is that they've got a front 3 going, because if you have a European style of management coming into the club where the coach is coming from influences from Spain, you understand? He's given this team a structure of 4-2-3-1 and sometimes the 4-3-3 to put in plain English. So obviously he's going to want to make use of those wingers a little bit more. That's why players like Abu Vincent Pule have had a great time. You know, that's why players like I forget his name now, man. The main man.
Umabasa.
Yes, like Mufokeng in particular. Yes, that's why players like Mufokeng have been able to actually enjoy themselves. Because if you think about football from South African perspective, it's always been about the number 9. You look at
number 9.
Exactly, the number 9 is the main man in this. Your job is to get goals.
He's the one who does the scoring.
Even if you watch Kasi football, I mean, the number 9 is one of the most pragmatic player on the pitch. Everyone else around him is all about shusha and piano. We wanna shake you around before we sing in a space seat. So, but you look at the Orlando Pirates this season, but their wingers this season have been getting the goals. Munapule Seleng being one of them as well. That has
Dion
played
Huto
off the right.
Also has been instrumental in a couple of goals.
It shows you that this team has a lot of European influences in the way that they build up going into the goals.
So are we saying that TS Galaxy is going to have their backs against the wall when they come across a very resurgent? Can I say resurgent? No, they've been doing very well
but
of late, Pirates.
It would be very disrespectful of us to say that about TS Galaxy when they sit 5th on the table. They've had a great season. They've played some fantastic football. They've made some smart signings. When Simon Nukovic left Kaizer Chiefs, we all thought it was like, he's down and out. But he's reborn. He's reborn at TS Galaxy. And even Peter Parker, before he got his injury, was very instrumental in this team's performances. I mean, consistency.
Another former Kaizer Chiefs player.
Exactly. It's consistencies that have come from TS Galaxy. I mean, they've lost a lot of young players because at some point their players were making such... I mean, they lost their captain, who was the youngest captain at centre-back for them. He left. He went to Kaizer Chiefs now.
Chiefs, yeah,
So they've lost a lot
Simao.
of key players, but they continue to perform season
Yeah.
after season, which it says to you, like I said about UTS last time, is that he loves football, but not only that, he has the vision for what he wants to do with this club.
Yeah.
And it's starting to reflect in the results. And I wouldn't be amazed if they take Orlando Pirates all the way in this match.
Yeah. So you are giving them a chance to come up with something when they play against Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates will edge the game and win it. Because at the end of the day, Orlando Pirates, I'm honestly of the opinion that I think Stellenbosch is just giving them this thing. They don't really want the CAF Champions League. They want the Confederations Cup.
Okay, so they are set for the Confederations Cup.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
They might just let Orlando Pirates try and go and get another star.
Yeah, go to Africa and
So
play
the
with
first
your
the
friends.
first two teams will have stars, and then the rest.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We don't
But
know what type of
it all
stars they'll be
depends.
having.
I mean, on the day,
Yeah.
TS Galaxy right now, one win in the last 5 matches. That win came 5 matches ago.
Yeah.
So for 4 matches now, it's been 1 loss and 3 draws in a row. So it's not
Yeah.
looking good.
Yeah.
So it will have to be an Orlando Pirates win for me.
Okay, so let's just quickly confirm that prediction for the viewers there. You are saying Orlando Pirates is going to get the maximum points, which is 3 when they play against TS Galaxy.
100%.
And then at the same time, you are saying Sundowns is going to beat Stellenbosch.
100%.
So we are saying getting into, by the end of the week, Orlando Pirates is going to be sitting pretty at position number 2.
Yes.
Hey, you heard it from Mr.
Warm
Mo.
up the cooler box.
Yeah, you heard it from Mr. Mo. It wasn't me. If you've got any questions, direct them to him. And our fourth and final featured game, it's in the CAF Champions League, the first leg rather.
Yeah.
It's Esperance that will be playing against Ahly from Egypt, and that game is going to take place at the Stade to Tunis. That's French for you, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Mr. E, it's a big one, this one. I'm very excited for this game, and more importantly,
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see who's going to actually walk away with the trophy.
But I would have loved to have Mamelodi Sundowns somewhere there.
No, Mr. E, that's a South African in you speaking. But
Yeah.
let's honestly be honest. Let's just bring ourselves towards ourselves. Esperance Tunis have had a fantastic CAF Champions League campaign, starting from the group stages where many, thought their group was an easy group because it had Pedro Lauda,
Yeah.
El Hilal, and they thought to themselves, Esperance Tunis is going to top this group.
Yeah.
So after they finished second in the group on 11 points, Pedro de Lauda obviously won the group. They went on and had a knockout phase where they started with Mimosas, and they went on to Mamelodi Sundowns, where Mamelodi Sundowns were the favorites to win it. But bearing in mind, maybe, karma had its way after how Sundowns beat Young Africans. That question mark of was it a goal or was it not?
Yes.
So maybe justice was served in the semi-finals when Esperance Tunis made it through by 2-0. And for them to have scored home and away in that match speaks volumes
With
of the
no
team.
reply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With no reply,
no reply.
against a team that has only conceded 9 goals in the DSTV Premiership.
Yeah.
So Esperance Tunis, I believe, well earned their spot. They deserve it. Top team. Give them the credit they deserve. Like Mamelodi Sundowns, obviously, I would say the South African in us would love to see Sundowns there, but Esperance Tunis earned their way into the final. I think if you ask Rulani Mokoena and the boys from Sundowns, they'd also share the same sentiments. We talk about the other finalist, which is Al Ahly.
Yeah.
For them, it's like it's like they have this Champions League thing on autoplay.
Yeah.
Every time they show up in the tournament, they end up in the final.
Yeah.
So their group was not an easy group. They started their first 3 games with a draw, which they didn't actually. The last 3 games out of their last 5. 3 out of their last 5 games ended in 3 draws, and then their last 2 were wins in the group stages, meaning that they finished the group with 12 points, but they only conceded 1 goal in their group. They had Belouizdad, which traditionally is a good team. They had Medina, and they also had Young Africans in their group. And for them to have navigated their group, but also where I find the big test came for them was in the knockout phases. Unlike Esperance Tunis, which started with Mimosas, they went and started with Simba. And then from there, they had to face a TP Mazembe that knocked out Pedro Lauda, who won the group that Esperance was in. So by the time they faced the TP Mazembe side, I was the one sitting here saying, no, there's going to be a miracle in the second leg. Because you looked at the first leg, but you're like, nah, El Ahly weren't looking that convincing. But like Real Madrid, like continental champions, they made it into the final. So that's the first leg of the final. 2 teams that deserve to be there, 2 teams that have played the best football in Africa. And I think the first leg is going to be quite an occasion. I think we're going to be sitting here next week with smiles on our faces after that match.
Most certainly. And how many stars has Al Ahly here?
Hey.
How many stars do they have now?
Mr. E.
I think they're all around their bench.
I think they've run out of space.
They might have to ask for a second page to put the next star. I think they've got 10. I think they're the 10-time champions in the CAF Champions League.
We have to be honest. I mean, it's a combination of great players over the years.
Yeah.
Some of them also going to Europe and then coming back. Some of them making their mark in Africa and then going to Europe.
Yeah.
So Ahly has dominated immensely in African football. I think when they at this point one of the pioneers of continental competition in terms of not only winning trophies but what they've done in terms of the hunger of other teams to go and win it. We saw the Moroccans also trying their best to go win it. They had to go face Ahly. The only thing I would always say about Ahly that I feel like they have shot and fall off is the World Cup. You know, they've been there many times, but they've not been able to then secure the gold that Africa so desires. And for me, this competition has always been a stepping stone to that. You know, because every year we see a European side picking up the trophy. If it's not a European side, it's a South American side. The last time our Africans got knocked out by the Saudi Arabian champions, which for me was very disappointing because I always thought that, you know, it goes Europe, South America, then us as Africans. But the Middle East has also improved vastly immensely in terms of what they offer in terms of football. So for Ahly, it won't be an easy win.
So you're now giving us the prediction there.
You're
saying it's not going to be an easy win, but they're going to win it.
For the overall conversation, it won't be an easy win. And
but remember, they are playing away more.
Yes, they are playing away. But that goalkeeper from Esperance Tunis, I mean, Mimeche, one of the best. I mean, to think about this boy is only 20 years old. 20 years old, this boy.
And he's
kept a clean sheet against Sundowns home and away.
Even Sharuli couldn't do anything about that.
What are you saying? Even Sharuli couldn't do anything about the boy, man. I mean, he's one you have to actually give a big round of applause to. In the game against Sundowns, he was majestic. He had 6 saves. He had 5 punches out of the box, and don't forget the 2 clean sheets. He had a couple of high claims, 3 of them in terms of the crosses coming into the box. So he commands the box very well, and I think he'll be the big difference between Ahly and
Esperance.
Exactly, because while Ahly have the experience, you know, the experience of a goalkeeper that you know for many seasons has been at your service. You know, he captains the country, captains the club. And he's been a stalwart of Egyptian football. In fact, the face of Ahly for a very long time. I remember even when Pito was winning titles with him, he was still the main man in terms of the goals. So I think they Mustafa here has a competition when it comes to this match, and he'll have to show up on the day as well and prove a big point in terms of Ahly's goalkeeping department.
Okay. Now let's confirm your prediction there. You are saying Ahly is going to beat Esperance and go on to win the CAF Champions Trophy.
Mr. E, we're not there yet.
Okay, so we're
still talking about we're still talking about the first leg. But like I said, it takes great goalkeepers to win championships like this. And like I just said, I mean, Mustafa Shobier is a young goalkeeper himself at 24 years old for Ahly. So he's also going to make his mark in this game. We haven't even started talking about the strikers, Abo Pesitao and all that stuff. But that's how good these two teams have been. If you look at the goals they've conceded the entire competition this season in terms of the CAF Champions League, it's stuff that you can only
dream of.
It's stuff you can only dream of. And look, it'll boil down to who can score the goals against these two fantastic goalkeepers.
Most certainly. Now let's quickly take a recap on today's games more, so that maybe our viewers there can create that winning bet slip. Let's start off with our first game. It was Stellenbosch versus Mamelodi Sundowns.
That one is a Sundowns win.
Straight win Sundowns. Okay. The next game was Kaizer Chiefs versus Rise and Shine Polokwane City.
That one was Polokwane City for me and Kaizer Chiefs for you.
Okay. At Bombela, TS Galaxy will welcome Orlando Pirates.
Orlando Pirates one way.
And the last one that we're just talking about, Esperance versus Ahly.
I'll follow the theme of the competition. The first leg will be a draw.
Okay. That's more for you. He's giving you a tip there. He's saying the first leg is going to be a draw. It's only up to you to know what the result will be in the second leg. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Diski Preview Show. My name is yours truly, Mr. E.